Which players had the biggest breakout or bounce back seasons of 2023? Every year we have players that we don't expect a whole lot out of. Whether that's because they're still pretty young and we're giving them time to figure it out, or because they just haven't really shown us all that much over the last couple years. But we always get a good handful of these players that seem to come out of nowhere and defy expectations to have great seasons. Young guys will finally figure it out, some veterans will finally put all the pieces together, and some guys that have struggled due to injuries or whatever other reasons are able to bounce back. So we're going to talk about those kind of players today. We're going to take a look at 5 of the biggest breakout or bounce back players of 2023. 3 hitters and 2 pitchers. And as we get into that, if you enjoy the video, please go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications to make sure you don't miss out on any future baseball videos like this one. So let's start off with talking about Tampa Bay Rays third baseman Isaac Paredes. And you know what? I'm sorry at this point if I'm butchering this, but I'm trying so hard on these names. The 24-year-old, from his debut in 2020 with the Tigers through 2022, played in 168 games, hit 22 home runs with a slash line of 209, 300, 390, a 689 OPS, and 98 WRC+. He'd been a below average hitter up to this point, but flashed some power with 20 of his homers coming last season, and a great plate approach, with both his strikeout percentage and walk percentage being better than league average. And now in 2023, Paredes played in 143 games. He hit 31 home runs with a 250, 352, 488 slash line, an 840 OPS, and 137 WRC+. Out of 133 qualified hitters this year, his WRC+ ranked 12th in MLB, and his 31 home runs was tied for 20th. So Paredes jumped himself up to arguably at least a top 20, top 15 hitter in baseball. And he did this by being more aggressive in the box and really looking to get something that he could lift. And this led him to the lowest ground ball percentage and the highest fly ball and line drive percentages of his career, helping him to maximize that power that he's flashed before. And on top of this dude is up there absolutely sitting on that fastball and looking to get out in front of everything. So he was gonna live and die with that pull side fly ball, and boy did that pay off this year. So now let's talk about a pitcher, and we'll start with Baltimore Orioles starting pitcher Kyle Bradish. In his debut season last year, Bradish made 23 starts, and in 117 2/3 innings, he put up a 4.90 ERA, 4.46 FIP, and 4.15 SIERA. He got hit pretty hard and wasn't really using his stuff to attack hitters as best as he could, so he made a couple changes heading into this season. And in 2023, he made 30 starts, going 168 2/3 innings, putting up a 2.83 ERA, 3.27 FIP, and 3.76 SIERA. His ERA this year ranked 4th in MLB out of 56 starting pitchers with at least 150 innings, and his FIP was ranked 10th. To keep guys off the base paths more, Bradish cut the walks down by attacking the zone more often, but he wasn't getting hit around as much because he changed up his pitch mix this season. He stopped using his four-seamer quite as much that was getting hit pretty hard, and instead he started using a sinker almost as often to get more ground balls. On top of this, he used his breaking balls more often this season. His slider was actually now his most used pitch, and this helped him to get more whiffs and helped raise his strikeout rate. So now he was missing barrels more and he was getting more chases, and both of these were big parts of why he wasn't getting hit around as much when guys did make contact against him. Now we're gonna go back to the hitters, and the next guy we're gonna talk about is Cody Bellinger of the Chicago Cubs. Bellinger's had quite a ride so far to start his career. Rookie of the Year in 2017, then the MVP only 2 years later in 2019, but after an injury during the 2020 playoffs, Bellinger really struggled. From 2021 to 2022, he played in 239 games, hitting 29 home runs, 193, 256, 355, a 611 OPS, and 69 WRC+, and leave it to the highest player in baseball to hit for a 69 WRC+, which, nice. Dealing with a handful of injuries during that time, Bellinger's numbers took a huge dip, and he was non-tendered by the Dodgers this last offseason, signing a 1-year deal with the Cubs with a mutual option for 2024. And coming into this season on that prove-it deal, he's done nothing but prove it. In 130 games, he hit 26 homers, a 307, 356, 525 slash line with an 881 OPS and 134 WRC+. Bellinger absolutely proved that he's back, but he proved it in a very different way than you might have thought. See, at the peak of his career, Bellinger was a very patient hitter, but he had a swing and miss tendency, and he improved his strikeout numbers as he went on. But when he struggled, he got way more aggressive at the plate, and both his walk and strikeout numbers suffered because of this. So you'd probably think that for him to bounce back, he'd have to get back to being that patient hitter that he was before. But this year, he actually stayed pretty aggressive. But while he was swinging more often, he was focused more on making contact, and then he was picking his spots more for when he would look to try to do damage. So while he wasn't hitting the ball hard as often as we've seen him do before, he was keeping the strikeouts down and just putting the ball in play when he had to just give himself a chance until he could get something good. So now let's talk about our other pitcher, and this is going to be Tanner Bibee, starting pitcher for the Cleveland Guardians. The 24-year-old rookie put up great numbers during a short time in the minors, starting 2022 at High A, then moving to Double A, and only making 3 starts at Triple A to start 2023. Over 28 starts in the minors, he went 148 innings with a 2.13 ERA, all around dominant, with a ton of strikeouts and very few hits, walks, or homers. Then in the majors this year, he made 25 starts, throwing 142 innings with a 2.98 ERA, 3.52 FIP, and 4.19 SIERA. Bibee is more of a fly ball pitcher, but since he was one of the best starting pitchers this year at missing barrels, he managed to keep that ERA as low as he did, which was the 6th best in MLB out of 67 starting pitchers with at least 140 innings. Paired with a pretty effective fastball this year, to get whiffs, he used his slider against righties and his changeup versus lefties, with a curveball that he could throw in there as well. Now going into next year, he could look to throw more of these secondary pitches to get more whiffs, and especially out of the zone to improve on his 30th percentile chase rate. This would obviously help him get more strikeouts, but it would also help him get more weak contact to keep the hits and the home runs down. And now we go back to the hitters one final time, and the last hitter we're going to talk about is Seattle Mariners shortstop JP Crawford. Going back to his debut season in 2017, Crawford through last year had played in 523 games. He hit only 27 homers, hitting .248, .333, .358, with a .691 OPS and 98 WRC+. He'd been a below average bat up to this point, but a very patient hitter that took his walks and kept the strikeouts down. But here in 2023, in 145 games, he broke out with 19 home runs, hit .266, .380, .438, with an .818 OPS and 134 WRC+. Crawford was actually more patient this year. Out of 133 qualified hitters, his walk rate ranked 4th. But more importantly, he picked his spots more to hit that square button and go for the power swing. He was willing to swing and miss a bit more this year because he was going for it when he got his chances to try to jump on something that he could lift. And even from a guy that's not really much of a power threat, we saw him hitting the ball hard more often than we ever have and getting the best power numbers of his career. And frankly, after all the shit that I've talked about this dude for however long about him being our shortstop, good on you, JP. I'm glad to be wrong about this one. So these are 5 guys, burgers and fries, that broke out, bounced back, whatever you want to call it, to put up great numbers here in 2023 and how they made it happen. Now, which of these guys do you think had the most impressive breakout season? Or who are some other players that you think I missed? Leave a comment down below and let me know if you'd like to see a part 2 video like this on some more breakout players this year. And if you got something out of this video, please hit that like button, subscribe to the page, and turn on notifications to make sure you don't miss out on any future videos and to help us reach more baseball fans so we have more people to just talk baseball with. You can help support the channel by grabbing yourself some of our merch. The link is down in the description, or by watching our latest video next about how the Dodgers somehow keep reviving careers with their Hollywood witchcraft. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Have an awesome day. Later.